Alright, I've had a few requests for information about how I'm managing to make all of these plates on the submarine, and I thought, well, I'll very quickly take you through the process that I'm using. First of all, here's the aluminium flashing. This is 0.3, I think. Let me check. Yeah, it's 0.28 of a millimetre, and it's used for roofing, fixing up windows and so on. So I find this stuff really useful. The other thing you need is a pair of scissors, obviously. I'm just going to make up some tiles to show you how I've done it, and then I'll show you how I glue them on. First thing to do was to estimate what I thought the size of this was going to be, and what I decided on was to make them 14 long and 12 wide. They're going to be 12 wide, all of the pieces. I need some at 7 by 12 to do the half pieces and offset them, and then 24 by 12 is a broader piece which will stretch across two. So you'll see this as we go on. It's fairly random how, when you look at the boats, how they've been fixed. And anyway, so there we go. So that's the beginning point. Second thing that you really do need is your own special rolling pin. This makes this job achievable. You really can't do it without this. So I've now got a nice flat surface. You need a nice flat surface to work on so that nothing protrudes up. So now I'm just going to draw up some pieces on here. Okay, so okay, so I want some half pieces which are all 7 mil thick. So I'll get 3 pieces of that, which is 7, 14, 21. Then the rest of these will be the normal thickness. I'll just put that onto there and that onto 21. And the normal thickness, length is 14. So that's 14, 18, 22, 26, Alright, so here are my pieces. I've got the smaller pieces for the top. Now what I'm also going to do is cut some of the larger pieces in strips at the bottom, which I'm finding 1, 2, 3, 4 is about right. So what I'm going to do on the bottom ones, on these longer ones for the lower parts of the hull, is just to scribe those sections onto it. That you need this. So I figured out that this little set of pieces will really finish me off. This is all I'll need to finish the entire boat off. So I'm pretty happy with this, and it gives me a chance to show you how it all works. Okay, so now we get the scissors and we're going to just cut these down and cut the pieces off and get it to the right size. Okay, so now we've got them all out, we now need to make them reasonable for cutting. Now, as you can see, as I roll this, it puts a nice concave shape onto here, which is exactly the shape we want for the side of the boat, just coincidentally. Very nice. So I'm going to start by cutting all of the smaller pieces, and then I'm making 3 different types of pieces here. That's the longer one. Oh, fuck off! What we get with Australian springtime and summer is blowflies and wasps. Fantastic. Okay, so that's it. Now, the next step is equally tedious, but we're getting to the end. Each of these now have a rather odd shape to them, so I'm just going to individually do that. Now, what it does is it puts this beautiful little concave on it, and it's just a delightful plate now to put on the side of the boat. Alright, so that is all of that. It's taken me about half an hour, I guess. And I'll show you my supplies. These are my lower hull supplies. My nicely cut supplies of the medium size. I've also got a stack here which haven't been rolled, and I use these because I have to cut pieces to size and I can't see the point in rolling them twice. And that's enough for the top parts. So what I've got on this board are some numbers 1 through to 8, and I number these base parts 1 through to 8, and I measure them all off, cut them to size, line them all up, as you will see now. So this has to be done manually, piece by piece. Yeah, lovely. Alright, so now I'm going to turn them all over. This is clearly the most tedious part of the job. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we're ready to go. The issue that you have to learn, I think, is how much epoxy to make for each run. I find that what I like to do is use all of the epoxy up in one run, and I'm making a reasonable sized run here. So let's prepare. I tend to use my fingers because just gives you that nice bit of control, and also I'll wipe up after myself. And you need a cloth to wipe your hands all the time. Now we shall put some along the run here. So you've got to think about how much you can put on before the 5-minute epoxy starts to go off. And it will start to go off at the end, so you have to learn this by trial and error. But let's put these on. Not too much in there. Okay. So we just pop them in. Obviously the hull is placed upwards so that these things don't slide off. This first part of the job is just getting them onto the boat. Now then, I'm just going to press them down. I think these are the ones that are already set. Okay, just pressing them a bit. Now comes the final touch. Okay, so we've made some, we've stuck some, and we've finished that part of the process. And I think that's okay. That's been an interesting exercise. So I just want to make the point, the final point, that making things like this leads to inaccuracies. It's inevitable. You can't make everything the right size, make everything fit perfectly. And that is exactly what I want to see. Because when you look at these ships, you don't see things done perfectly. I suppose the corollary to that is that when people look at your boats, they're going to say, oh, that doesn't look too good. So, it sounds terrible, but the only way I can resolve that matter is if I go to some sort of show or something, take a picture or 3 or 4 pictures of what these ships are like in real life and what I've modelled on, because people are expecting a box bought type model. Box bought type models do not look like the real thing. That's just the way it is. There you go, little lesson for you. Relax. Make sure these are straight.